Counting down.
Is this okay? Yeah. You can see
All
me,
right, everyone. We are live here with another awesome Ocean live Q&A, and actually we have a very special guest. But just we want to do some housekeeping first, and we want to talk about our Q&A. I'm your host, Eric.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erin. Welcome back.
And we actually have a great Q&A, but we want to remind you this Q&A is being hosted by awesomeocean.com. That's a website that celebrates our oceans and the hardworking people who are on the front lines of conservation, research, animal care at zoos, aquariums, and marine parks. And Erin's going to go over the rules real quick for this Q&A.
All right, everyone. Well, welcome back again. As always, we encourage involvement. So at the beginning of each segment, we're going to ask you or throughout to just use the chat screen at your right, ask questions, give comments. But as always, negative, bullying, slanderous comments will not be tolerated and will be deleted, and you will be banned from posting any more comments. And as always, we are going to do it, and you can bet on it. Have fun, though. We want it to be a great interactive experience for everybody. We ask that you tweet about the event. Use hashtag AwesomeOceanLive. Feel free to tweet at OneAwesomeOcean and at Carolyn Hennesy during the Q&A. So thanks, everyone, for being with us again.
Yep, and just remember to use the chat room over on the right. We have Kim. We have the conversations that started over there. So, again, everyone, please use the chat room. We're very thrilled to have this Q&A. So first we want to talk about our special guest, which is Carolyn Hennesy. She's a celebrated author and Emmy-nominated actress that you probably recognize from the big and small screens, appearing in movies like Click, Terminator 3. She's on TV right now on Disney's Jessie. She's been in General Hospital, Revenge, Cougar Town, True Blood, and more. She's a very recognizable face and very awesome. Carolyn is also a best-selling author of the Pandora book series, and she hosts an amazing online show called Animal Magnetism, where she is tackling the real challenges and tender triumphs of advocating for animals, with world-renowned experts joining in her studio via Skype from all parts of the globe. Carolyn's current curiosity is unquenchable, I can't talk, as is her desire to ensure that animals everywhere receive the respect and dignity they deserve if every species, including humans, is going to survive and thrive. And so we want to welcome Carolyn. Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I am looking at my picture, and I think I need to explain to the audience that I do have curtains, but the window and the sun in the palm trees, and it's like, you know, there isn't an alien landing happening outside. It's just, as soon as the sun's just gonna keep, you know, going down, and it'll get fine. It'll be fine. But it's like, wow.
Well, you look marvelous, and so we have a lot to talk about with you today. And one of the things we really want to talk about is, why are you passionate about animals, Carolyn? Like, why is this your calling?
What was it? Gandhi said? Gandhi? You know, when a country or a nationality or a society that does not care for its animals is, I'm absolutely paraphrasing, but is, you know, underdeveloped or is not enlightened. I can't imagine. I've always loved animals, but it was really, again, through I've said this so many times, he's probably just going to be sick of hearing it, through Gray Stafford, that I came to understand a little bit of animal psychology, a little bit about, minuscule compared, about positive reinforcement training, and I started getting really close to animals because I flew myself all over the world and all over the country. Mm-hmm. And when you start getting close to animals, you have to walk the talk. And I was posting things about Ringling Brothers, about the video Ringling Brothers, without actually having researched it. Just an activist, a fan, a General Hospital fan on Twitter posted a video and said, boycott Ringling Brothers. And I said, oh, well, yes, they are abusing their elephants. And so I said, boycott Ringling Brothers. And Gray, God bless him, wrote to me and said, thank you so much for caring about animals, but you should know this, that Ringling Brothers has this, and yes, we're trying to work to get them to do this, but that video is very old and they have progressed. Yeah. And I thought, oh my God, I did that thing. I spoke without knowing as much as I could.
So that's how you met Gray Stafford then, was he reached out to you?
Yeah, he did. He did reach out to me, and I was fortunately smart enough to reach right back. So he invited me to come to Busch Gardens, down to Phoenix to the Wildlife World Zoo. We just went back to the world, and when you actually walk the talk, when you say I care about animals, and now I'm going to go and interact with them, that's when your DNA changes. And you think, oh, I have to do everything I can to preserve and conserve these species. And it just it reignited, a fire in me that, I used to rescue dogs and cats off the street all the time. But I've been acting for longer than probably both of you have been alive. So, that heavy duty work, and animals were sort of, I had a dog or a cat, but thanks to Gray, the passion was really reignited. Very long answer to your question. I'm going to have some tea.
So it really sounds like, you came from it from a very, emotional, caring about animals perspective, but for you that transformed into an educated perspective and a perspective that really wanted to learn as much as possible about what you were advocating for.
Had to. I see a lot of my peers. First of all, a lot of my entertainment industry peers will speak from the heart, feelings, but much of the time they're fearful of being labeled something cruel, brutal. If they, fortunately, people like Betty White couldn't care less. She's She's on the Greater Los Angeles Zoo Association board because she understands, because she got educated. If I'm a person that if I speak, I have to speak the truth.
Yeah.
As best I can. The facts, and try to take the emotion out of it. Because being an actress, I am an exceptionally sensitive human being. I think maybe too sensitive sometimes. But if that can fuel the passion, but it also needs to be grounded in the truth, grounded in reality, grounded in rational thought, grounded in the facts, statistics, as much information as is humanly possible to get. Otherwise I become like everybody else who's like, close the zoos! Leave the wild! Save the animals! We're not quite sure how, just do it!
Oh, we can sympathize with those comments, yeah.
Spot on.
So what are you going to do when you close all the zoos? I don't know! Take the It's like, hey, there's no more wild space in Africa. I don't know! Just do it!
Well, and that kind of points out the question is in your experience working at kind of the high level, like in the very strong personalities, obviously the people who are very notable, have you had an opportunity where you've been able to maybe crack that activist mindset and kind of open the mind, Well,
I'll tell you a story. And first of all, the answer is actually, that's not true. I have been able to crack the activist mindset with a number of people, and I do that by arranging behind-the-scenes tours of the Los Angeles Zoo. By what we did, hopefully at SeaWorld, we went down and we've got like maybe 6 hours, 6 shows worth of footage that are going to break, just shatter all the damage that Blackfish has done. It's just going to hopefully repair that.
Yeah.
I need there. But I will tell you a story. I will not name names. An individual in the entertainment industry had done a documentary about a certain animal. And I was speaking with this individual, and they said, well, the San Diego Zoo has a team of hunters in Africa that are killing elephant families, and except for the babies, because the babies are cute, and they bring them back here. And I said, huh? Hang on. hang on, I've got to stop. I have to, grab a chair, and I must tell you I said, you're telling me that the San Diego Zoo has a team of killers in Africa that are killing animals, and except for the babies, and they bring the babies back here. Yes. And I said, no. She goes, oh no. I mean, I just have to shut you down. I have to stop you. I have to educate you. And I went, I need, it's like I need to change my sobriety date. But somebody on social media had gotten to this person. They had gotten to this person, and it was a belief system, and I thought, that's too far gone. That's too far gone in a way. That's like PETA crazy. That's PETA crazy.
Yeah.
So I was not able to. I said, I think you're wrong. No, I have to shut you down. It's like, okay, I'm getting nowhere.
No. Oh wow. Yeah.
I mean, speaking of PETA, how is PETA's relationship? Because there's so many celebrities that end up doing endorsements with PETA. What's it like to be someone in that environment who understands the true nature of that organization?
Let's see. PETA does not come up with, well, here's the thing. Because of the expose that was written, because there is now something tangible and on paper that I can do, and I can say, I've known this for years, that they euthanize, they slaughter 98% of the animals that they're supposed to take in and find homes for, right? Wrong. I know that they've got these killing rooms.
Yeah.
I know, I've heard the stories about Ingrid Newkirk from people on the inside.
Yeah.
So I knew. But now with this expose, to be able to hold up a piece of paper and say, it is a fact. Yeah. What's fascinating to me is that a lot of people are just going, what? I didn't know. Oh, I'll never send money to PETA again. Oh, I will never, endorse PETA again. So PETA's, it's changing, and thank God for the Virginia, legislature saying, if you're going to operate here, you're going to do exactly what you say you're going to do, and you're going to, I just wish they'd shut them down, but now that there's such scrutiny of PETA, I'm going to be very interested to see where if the celebrities still continue to rally around them, knowing that this organization is corrupt and is they're charlatans. It's a charade.
So Julie wants to know in the chat room. She wants to know, how can we get other celebrities to realize what they are supporting when they do a PETA ad or commercial?
Julia, if I had the answer to that, there would be no more PETA. Seriously, because I would be able to, it's talking, it's programs like this, it's getting my peers to watch programs like this, to listen to Animal Magnetism, to do some reading. But here's the thing, Julia. We're lazy.
Yeah.
We're lazy. I'm not lazy. But a lot of, because the entertainment industry can take so much out of you, it is such a hard job. You have to make no is your best friend. You have to really learn to love the word no, rejection, not taking anything personally, getting up at 5 in the morning. It's not glamorous. The Oscars, but the rest of it, it's not glamorous, and it's tough. It's tough on a person personally. So when we are spoon-fed information, it's very easy to go, okay, I believe. I believe. Okay, you're going to tell me because I have some type of notoriety or fame or a modicum of celebrity, you're going to tell me you want me on your cause, and you're going to spoon feed me the information, I'll go with you because I don't have to work.
Yeah.
I don't have to work at it. And twisting, because not only are these people, the actors are hard workers, a lot of them, at their job, but they're lazy in terms of wanting to expand, sometimes, a lot of them expand their horizon. So, and if they have already committed to PETA or some other like organization, then to now admit that they're wrong. Good Christ. They've been wrong this entire time?
Yeah.
And to switch, to reprogram their thinking, that's tough. How can we do it? All I know is that every set I go on to, if somebody says anti-zoo, I say I will arrange a tour for you. I will show you my Animal Magnetism shows about SeaWorld behind the scenes, what they are doing. These heroes that spend holidays away from their families just so they can go out and rescue sea lions that are dying in our oceans. I mean, what they are doing down there, it's astonishing. It's astonishing. So, I don't know. Long answer, great question. Talk. Write them.
No.
Write them. You know what? Here, Juliet, get everybody you know to go onto Twitter, go on Facebook, go on their Facebook fan pages, post and say, listen to this episode of Awesome Ocean. Listen to Animal Magnetism. Do some research. Take that PETA article and post it on their Twitter page. Put it in their face. Everybody that you know who's a celebrity, or you know who you follow, put it in their face. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Fight
fire with fire.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, that's what they try and do all the time. Is they take and rally these very vocal social media supporters and just spread this misinformation. So I guess we got to turn the tables on them a little bit and send it the other way.
Whoever tells the story first, that's who you believe. And unfortunately, something like Blackfish comes out, which was it's a fact. It's in an interview that it was made solely for the director to win an Oscar. I mean, and that is sensational charlatanism at its absolute worst. And thank God it wasn't even nominated.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. We know a little about that.
Right.
Right.
And so it's definitely one of those things where when I look at a lot my family has definitely questioned me when they've seen me kind of take on this fight and really taking on like the whole zoo debate that shouldn't be a debate in my opinion. And so for you, Carolyn, what do you feel like when you look at zoos, in their modern role? What do you feel like their modern role is from your perspective?
They're custodians. They're custodians. They are the guards. They protect. They conserve. They are the receptacles of species, of gene pools, I mean, if something happens, there is no more West African black rhinoceros. It's gone. It's gone in the wild. But we have it in a zoo. And should something happen, and half the population of the Earth is no longer, we have more wild spaces, we can release this animal back into the wild and let it propagate.
Sorry.
We are going to be 9 billion people in 2050, as Gray likes to remind me.
Whew.
Hopefully I'll be gone. There's no more wild. There's no more wild. Human interaction with the wild animals the animals are suffering because the elephants are trampling the garden that wasn't in the Great Migration route the year before.
Yeah.
Right? And so zoos are necessary. Modern zoos, not the torture chambers that they used to be. I mean, an elephant in a cement pen. No, absolutely not. But you know what? We did that 50 years ago.
Yeah.
We did that 55 years ago. We cannot be kept being made to pay for what the mistakes we did in the past that we're not repeating. We've learned. We're growing. We got it now. Yes, we need to create, similar terrain. We need to give them, a natural and enough habitat. We're not keeping, so shut down the zoos that are not moving forward. Yes, absolutely. But
hallelujah.
Yeah, the Los Angeles Zoo, San Diego Zoo, my God, Busch Gardens down in Orlando, Wildlife World Zoo, Grace Stafford's place in just outside of Phoenix.
Yeah.
They are taking it to a new level, and that is a delight because, as I say, this is a very tiny planet, and so far, it's the only one we know of, and we're overpopulating it by at least 3 times the amount of people that this planet can sustain in perpetuity. If that's gone, people are just going to keep having babies.
Yeah.
This planet is completely overpopulated.
So Carolyn, you and I actually have a fun shared experience where we both spent a little bit of time in Cambodia and Southeast Asia. Now I'm curious, I had in my imagination when I thought of Cambodia, I really thought I was going to this jungle paradise where it was going to be endless jungle. What did you think you were going to encounter when you went to Cambodia?
What did I think? Jungle.
Yeah.
Yes. And going down to Angkor Wat, and
Yeah.
I mean temples and snakes, and rice paddies and jungle.
So were you prepared when you got there? Were you prepared like on how developed and how much forest, like how little forest remains when you got over there?
Well, we flew into Phnom Penh, and we then drove to Nick Marks and the Wildlife Alliance, the sanctuary.
Yeah.
We didn't travel a lot in Cambodia. We basically were in Phnom Penh, and then I think we were there 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And I needed to get a massage. I didn't go out. Yeah, it wasn't. There was very little forest. Very little forest. I'll tell you what was interesting. When we landed, and we were driven into Phnom Penh to our hotel, there was a stench coming off the river that apparently just comes in waves, and after it rains, it's not there. And we had an incredible storm, but it's because people are using the river now for bathing, for elimination, for food.
Yeah.
And it was, you just want to say, stop having babies, please, please. It's but you can, but you can't. They're not. No one's. But yes, it was very cosmopolitan, Phnom Penh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we went out again to the Wildlife Alliance. We drove past the killing fields. We did not stop.
Yeah. So, as far as, when you look at conservation problems, you look at, the people who say, oh, just put the animals back, put the Asian elephants back in Cambodia, put the Asian, put the sun bears back. What would be your response after being to Cambodia to people who say just put them back?
Close your mouth. That would be my response. My response is, no. If you put them back, you might as well put them back with a sign that says, available for poaching. Because that's it. Terrorism needs to be funded somehow.
Yeah.
And poaching is is one of the main sources. Elephants, rhino horn, tiger penis, sun bear bile. It's all there. Shark fin soup, which is a glutinous mass of nothing. But you get it just goes to fund. Who knows what it fund? It goes to fund. People being beheaded in the Syrian desert.
Yeah.
So I would say, stop. Don't put it. We cannot put anything back unless somehow we are able to create a dome in the Cambodian jungle, and it's impenetrable.
Yeah.
We can put the wildlife in there, but we can't do that. That's ridiculous. We have to modern zoos and aquaria. That's what we need. And listen, nobody more than me would love to say. I would love to say.
Yeah.
We don't need. I would love to get to a point in our evolution where we can say we don't need zoos anymore because, well, look, we started population control and we now have some more wild spaces and we don't need zoos anymore. We can live in harmony with the wild animals. But nobody more than me. I would love to see every zoo shut down because we are now living once again in harmony with animals in the wild.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
No. Not in our lifetime.
Not in our lifetime. Unless the tectonic plates shift and things are, and we all get to start again, and maybe there are a few people left, like that movie 2012. There are a few people left that get it, and understand. It's not going to happen.
No.
So no, we can't put them back. We can't put them back, and it's really a shame.
All right, let's see here. We have some questions coming in here. Joseph asks, "What is your reaction to when someone brings up?" After you tell them you support zoos and SeaWorlds, I guess let's see here. What is your reaction when someone brings up after. So when someone brings up zoos and SeaWorlds, and you tell them that you're a supporter, how do you follow up with that? I guess
If they say they will ask why usually, and I say A, B, and C, and very often A, B, and C is enough to get them thinking. If it's not, and I know them well, or sometimes if I don't even know them, I will say, then come with me.
Yeah.
Because if you're local in Los Angeles, I will take you to the zoo. I will take you to the zoo. I will arrange a tour. We'll get as many of your friends who are anti-zoo as you would like, and we go. And I've done that now on a number of occasions, and flipped people out. The California condor is no longer on the brink of extinction because of the work that they're doing at the LA Zoo.
It's so incredible.
Astonishing.
It is.
What SeaWorld is doing in helping to perpetuate species.
Well, you look right now, and this is something that Erin and I have been talking about. Erin's in Texas, and I'm in Orlando, and I know for a fact that SeaWorld has sent trainers from Orlando, from San Antonio, to San Diego to help with the mortality event of sea lion pups that's going on right now.
It's horrible. It's just horrible. The very first hour, which is going to air on the 8th of March at 7 o'clock on www.ubnradio.com, Animal Magnetism, Channel 1. The very first, we were taken into the veterinary section, the operating rooms, and we were shown what they're pulling out of pups, the fishing lines, the hooks, the nets, the parasites, because the waters off of San Diego, the waters off of the western United States are polluted to such a degree that these animals, they have no food. They've got nothing. They're starving to death. Now, SeaWorld is the only thing that is taking them in, hydrating them, rehabilitating them, feeding them, keeping them separate, and getting them strong again, but then they send them back out into the wild, unless they're really, really gone. They send them back into the wild, but they're sending them back out into the filth that mankind has left for them. So.
No, and you're, you hit it right on the head. The fact is that we have affected our planet.
It's crazy. The bottom line is, though,
Carolyn.
The bottom line is, though, that SeaWorld, places like SeaWorld, Georgia Aquarium, they're trying. They are trying to stave off the annihilation of species, thanks to us. So, and they're doing their damnedest, and they should all get medals.
Well, that's what because again, when I look at who is saving the Earth, and Erin, obviously she's in this battle 100% with us, and when we look at who's on the front lines and who's funding, we see that zoos are funding this. And you had mentioned, in a private conversation about something that the San Jose Zoo is funding right now. About, I believe, a gorilla species you were talking about.
Yeah. What's interesting? Zoos get such flack. They get such flack for doing heroic work. They are heroes, and zoos are sometimes the only source of funding for instance, the San Jose Zoo alone supports and pays the salaries of a group of oh my God, the people who protect
guards or
hello. Sunlight, it's the aliens landing. That's affecting. A group of guards protecting a certain preserve of gorillas. They are paid solely by the San Jose Zoo. They're not even in Africa.
Yeah.
And they pay their salaries. That's how magnificent some of these institutions are. I mean, truly magnificent. Those guards probably wouldn't be paid. They probably wouldn't be doing what they're doing if it weren't for this tiny little zoo up in Northern California. What? And they're getting flack? How dare you? How dare you? Not you, but...
So, no. I completely, we have an anti-question in here that I will address right now, because Break Central America is very active on Twitter. This is a travel agent who likes to ask us lots of questions, but this person wants to know is, how do you feel about SeaWorld polluting and getting fined for what they dump in Mission Bay, San Diego? And I will handle this, because here's the thing, is that SeaWorld, all of SeaWorld's water for their animal habitats comes from Mission Bay. So they actually pump the water in, they filter it, and then that water gets used by the animals, and then it gets filtered again and gets put back into Mission Bay. Right. SeaWorld has actually had a measurable effect on improving the water quality of Mission Bay. They've been fined a few times for firework debris and one or two other things, but that is negligible. We think of the millions upon millions of gallons every day of clean water they pump into Mission Bay. So Break Central America, nice try, good luck.
Well, here's what I want to know. Is Break Central America going to actually hear what you said to say, is actually going to understand what you had to say, and is going to now tweet and say, I'm sorry, I didn't know. You've educated me. I doubt that's going to happen. But let me know what they say.
All right, Erin.
Okay. Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that, Carolyn, but I am going to take it back a little bit and say, kind of on the same note, actually, Howlcat asks, how can I talk to people who aren't interested in hearing the defense for zoos, aquariums, and SeaWorld?
Well, replay this interview and listen to what's being said, and take and say, arm yourself with the facts. Go read, listen to Jack Hanna speak, any of his anything that he posts on Twitter, yes, or on online. Listen to Gray Stafford. Start reading. First of all, you can't talk to people unless you yourself are educated with the facts, unless you have the ammunition. So get the ammunition. First, start with facts and figures and start saying, you know what? There are modern zoos now that you're thinking about zoos in the past. Understand that this planet is small and it's all we've got. And and the rivets are starting to pop. And this thing's going to just explode. But we have zoos now that are receptacles of gene pools, and and they create amazing domains for their animals, the animals in their care. And you cannot keep thinking of zoos as carnival freak shows. As zoos are not the Midway anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
no,
but it's educated before you talk.
So Break Central America wrote back and said she is right that they will not be posting that they are educated now. So.
Yeah, they did a really good job of proving your point, actually, Carolyn. You seem to be 100% on there.
Pretty prophetic.
Yeah, I'm amused.
It's so sad. It's just so sad because listen, people when they dig in their heels and they rear up on their haunches, and it's like, I'm not going to change my mind, even though you have presented me with facts. SeaWorld puts clean water back into Mission Bay. Period. But you know what? I'm entrenched and I'm intractable, and I'm just gonna take my car and go home, and I'm not gonna listen to you. Because I've been this way for so long that if I change now, oh God, I've been wrong. You know what? It's just like,
I love it.
Okay.
Program. And you know what? It's like, stop being ignorant and stop being a little boy. Grow up.
So actually, this is a question, Erin, you can handle. Break Central America says, but SeaWorld has not bred one orca for release, which is similar to the people who say,
bred one orca for release. Yeah, because, well, it's a very interesting thing that you bring that up because I recently I reviewed a peer-reviewed paper that I found in my school's library database that said that saying that zoos and aquariums do not participate in conservation because they're not releasing a steady stream of animals into the wild reflects an ignorance of the goals and breadth of conservation itself. So we were talking about don't be ignorant. This basically hits the nail on the head because it's saying that because this one singular event that for some reason I am invested in thinking this is the only thing SeaWorld can do to help wild animals, they're not doing, therefore they can't be doing anything else. First of all, you don't, except in a case of very, very rare species that are bred for a certain purpose, you don't breed animals in facilities that are later released. You maintain healthy gene pools in zoological facilities, but you don't breed them in zoological facilities and then send them back out in the wild because, Carolyn, what did you say to people who say we should just dump them all back in the wild?
Oh, God, what did I say? I said, it's like you might as well hang a sign on the poaching. You know, it's like, I know what I said. Shut your mouth.
Yeah, there we go.
You know what I would say? Was it Brig Central America? I would say, what was the question? Well, you know, SeaWorld has not bred one orca to be released back in the wild, and I would say, right.
Okay, so then she's followed up with, it would be better than breeding for human entertainment and for life in a tank.
Well, let's ignore Central America. We're done with her.
One more thing, Eric. Basically, she just said she would prefer that the animals die than live in a zoological facility. So that's it.
Well, here's the deal. I am so glad that Brig Central America is probably, you know, has very little to do with influencing animal care. She's just well, stupid. Okay, sorry, I said that. I'm sorry.
Does anybody have any other questions?
We actually have some.
Don't tell me. Here's the deal. Here's the deal with. I shouldn't have said that. You know what? I'm sure she's not. Her heart is in the right place. And the thing is, we know what she wants. The bottom line is she can't have it. The time has passed. It's gone. And if you want to talk about why it's absolutely fine that these animals are on view, on display, and do backflips up out of the water, it is because the more you bond, the sooner, the faster, the tighter you bond with an animal or a species of animals, the more you want to conserve and preserve it. It's as simple as that. And where does that bonding start? That bonding starts with, first of all, viewing it. Then you smell it, then you hear it, then you look at it, then you can touch it, and then you care about it. And the shows that everyone is just so down on SeaWorld about, all of that is stimulation, enrichment, exercise, brain work for those animals and the people that they love. The people that feed them, the people that care for them, the people that treat them, the people that let them swim for hours and hours a day, doing anything they want to do. And you know what? You get 3,000 people 3 times a day to watch this beautiful interaction, see how man can interact with these wild that are now in human care. That is going to, because you know Timmy, Julie, and Billy, and they're going to grow up, and they're going to be poacher hunters. They're going to grow up to be veterinarians, or they're going to grow up to be scientists, figure out how we can start cleaning up the wild species, start thriving again. And let the animal care less if there are 3,000 people watching. They're just interested with their treasures. They're just having fun. They are having fun, and they are. So everybody know. I can hear myself in an echo. So it's like,
sorry.
How magnificent they are. And how we can bond with them. Because you know what? Not everybody's going to go to Africa and see elephants in the wild. And if you don't know about an elephant, if you don't know one, you don't necessarily care about it. It hasn't affected you. There's nothing like having an elephant trunk wrapped around you. It changes your DNA. Seriously, there's nothing like swimming with a dolphin, petting the underbelly of a dolphin, and it changes your DNA. But not everybody is going to have the chance to do it. But a lot of people, SeaWorld's a destination. You know,
No.
it's a destination. They want to go there, and it's great that they go there so they can interact, so they can see, so they can bond, so they can start caring about the animals that inhabit the oceans. No, you know, they're not going to go out. Very few people in a whale watch. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. Maybe. These places are necessary. Necessary. It's just it's logical, rational.
Well, let's see. Kim agrees with you here. Kim says, she says, I'll trade places with a SeaWorld orca any day. Free medical care, all the playtime I want, and free food. Sign me up. But Joseph asked another question. He wants to know if you've read the book Killing Keiko by Mark Simmons yet.
I have.
He wants to know what what was your reaction after you read it?
After I stopped sobbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I read it because Mark Simmons, we interviewed him for Animal Magnetism. So please log on and go into the archives and listen to our interview with Mark Simmons. It's pretty astounding. I did have one question for him. Because Keiko is, you know, that incident happened, and now they want to release Lolita, and they want to release her into polluted waters up in Puget Sound. They want to take her from 45 years old from the environment that she's known, and they want to put her in the wild with her family that she doesn't really know.
Correct.
In filthy water in Puget Sound. But my reaction, I did have one question for Mark Simmons, which I thought was valid, because at the end, you know, they tried one time to release Keiko into this family, this pod, and the pod rejected this poor little whale, and was traumatized. And they wanted to do it again, and they wanted to do it again. And there was one doctor that really wanted this backlit in the sun, Keiko jumping off in. But that didn't happen. And Mark left the project.
Yeah.
And my question for him was, why did you leave? I felt in a way, and he answered it. He said he ethically could not continue. But I felt that he kind of abandoned that whale. After reading the book, he answered the question very logically, and I understood why he had to do what he had to do. And Keiko's end.
No, it's
swimming along a coastline and begging for food, begging for interaction, is the most. It's fucking heartbreaking. It is just it cracks your heart wide open. That should never have happened. Keiko should have stayed in Oregon in that beautiful, fine, a sea pen. Should have stayed there and lived out the rest of his life in peace instead of being tortured. And that's all I can say that it was, torture. It's inhumane.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So.
Agreed. Because in a way, Keiko,
Erin, because what was your reaction? I know.
I mean, Keiko was a victim of human sensibility, because these, as you said, Carolyn, these people were so fixated on this, you know, sort of surreal shot of him moving out into the ocean and learning to eat fish, which he never did, and learning to, you know, be with wild orchids, which he never did. They were so fixated on this picture and how it would make them feel, they completely overlooked what would be best for that animal, and he suffered as a result of that. The fact that people want to do this again is unacceptable to me.
Well, I honestly don't think it's going to happen. I think there will be such a hue and cry. I mean, then I think really the advocates would have to just start, because it would be the same thing all over again, and that would be an instance where we did not learn from our past, where we did not learn from our absolute mistake. And Keiko was a mistake. Keiko was a tragedy that should never have happened, and Lolita is a tragedy that can be prevented. But we have to speak up. People can't just read about it and go, yeah, I hope something happens.
Well, because again, I think most people. No, I think most people still have that image in their mind of Willie jumping over the seawall and swimming off into the distance.
Yep.
And that's not the reality at all.
reality was he was tormented in one of the Scandinavian countries. I believe it was Finland. Might have been Finland. And he was off the coast, and they found him. They think he just died of depression. They just found him at the bottom of the bay one day. But he had been trying. One person, I think, had tried to stay with him as long as they possibly could, but he was just following tourists, begging for food, begging for interaction. It's
No, I remember I've never closed a book and cried in anger so much. And oh man, yeah, just talking about it just makes me just so furious.
all could have been prevented. It all could have been prevented. People need to rise up and say, you know what? Who's calling me? I don't know.
So it's like, what are you doing, you crazy one? No, and so no, I'm glad you read that book because everyone, we can't recommend this book enough. I know I'm a huge fan of Mark Simmons. I think he does amazing work around the world. Activists like to give Mark a bad rap, but this is someone who flies around the world and will save any animal at a moment's notice. To me, he's like my conservation hero.
Activists love to give everybody who is an advocate a bad rap. We are evil. We're brutal. We are we're jailers. We crush whatever, and it is absolutely the opposite. I mean, the people at the Los Angeles Zoo, they don't get paid very much, to be perfectly honest with you. They just don't. They do what they do for a love of animals, a wanting, a desire, a need to see these species kept intact, propagating. That's what, I mean, these are not, what do you think they are, multi-millionaires that work at the Los Angeles Zoo that they just love to tour? No.
It's
ridiculous. And the flack that they get from people like, the Ingrid Newkirks of the world, who are multi-millionaires, and who want to see every animal either dead or free, because that's her personal morality. That's her personal morality that she has managed to incorporate, and a lot of people behind her. And I mean, people, if you have a dog or cat, she's gonna kill it.
Yeah. Well, she thinks that companion animals should go extinct. She thinks that they're like a twisted, disgrace to evolution, that people have these animals that they live in companionship with. I mean, she actively has said that she would support the extinction of cats and dogs, and people still follow this woman like she's some kind of messiah, and it's bizarre.
Well, Ingrid Newkirk is what did you say? She said cats and animals are dogs and cats were and something to evolution.
They're a disgrace to evolution or something like.
Ingrid Newkirk is a disgrace to evolution.
Yes. Well, that's kind of what as we've been in this whole thing, like trying to understand activism and understand PETA and understand people who are anti-human care. It's very unreasonable when you think of. I don't know, the kind of world that they want to live in is not a world I want to live in. I love being surrounded by nature. I love having animals in my life, and I love, and I want my nieces and my nephews and my relatives to be able to appreciate, that there are wild dogs in Africa that need your protection, that there are whales and dolphins that need your protection, your empathy. Even though you might live in Idaho, which is where I grew up, and you had no access to the ocean, SeaWorld was my access to the ocean. When I went down to San Diego for the first time when I was 8. And so to me, that inspired a lifelong love of passion that eventually sent me to Cambodia so I could try to get involved in some conservation projects. And so, I feel like, people who truly love animals, if you'll just take a moment and really think, how can we preserve species? And that's what, we're excited to work with you, Carolyn, long term here on Awesome Ocean, and kind of work together so we can help maybe create better ways to help people understand how we can preserve species that are threatened and endangered around the world. And so some quick questions here. We're nearing the end of our very passionate Q&A here, and we actually have some really
all these questions coming in. They're probably
there are just hundreds of comments here, Carolyn. People are.
Are any of them nice?
Oh, yeah.
No, almost
yeah.
all of them are nice. Actually, so Julie wants to know do you have any plans or anything that you are considering doing for World Ocean Day or Earth Day this year?
I do not have any plans as of yet. If Julie has any suggestions, bring them on.
Okay, well, we will definitely keep you, because that's definitely something that we want to really kind of plan out this year. And then let's see here. There is
I saw Lizzie asked a while back, Eric. Carolyn, what's your favorite conservation project that you've sort of visited or learned about? Can you pick a favorite?
Lek Chailert's Elephant Nature Park, right outside of Chiang Mai in Thailand. That woman is the closest thing to what a bodhisattva, and in the Hindu religion, a bodhisattva. Lek Chailert is this big, by the way. She's this thin, and she's a dynamo. She is a force of nature. But as I say, she's the closest thing to a bodhisattva, and a bodhisattva in the Hindu religion is a being that has been reincarnated so many times that they don't need to be here anymore, but they're here to help the rest of us poor slobs, kind of, and she's it.
I love that.
Yeah, and she sings to her elephants. She's got like 200 acres with a river running through it, and she takes the worst of the worst off of the streets of Bangkok, Chiang Mai. Hi, babies. I have my dogs here. She's not getting her hands on them. Hang on.
Oh.
Hello. This is Arbuckle.
Arbuckle, you're so cute.
He's so precious. It's a little laptop.
So yes, Lek Chailert's Elephant Nature Park. Donate, and you can go there and you can be a volunteer and cut up squashes and melons for the elephants. You can bathe them. You can go for a week. I think you have to pay, but what the hell? It's genius. And she'll curl up in a ball underneath these big elephants. I mean, it's just heaven to watch her. It's heaven to watch her. Anyway, that's Elephant Nature Park.
That sounds amazing. Sounds incredible.
That sounds like
Donate.
Next. So, all right. So we're gonna wrap this up here. Oh wait, are there more questions? Let's see here.
I'm looking. There's some good conversation, but I don't. Yeah, I think we've gotten most of the questions.
Yeah, people are very passionate about what you're talking about here, Carolyn. People really love to
rallied the groups.
Well, good. Listen, spread it. Take your brains and your soul and your passion and your voice and tweet about this. Tweet to the celebrities that you know are do some research. The celebrities that you know are activists, the one that you know, but also have a voice. Try and change their mind. Try and educate them. Do what you can. Don't be passive about this, because, as I say, time's running out. And while many of us on the planet today might not live to see the end, your grandchildren will. Your great-grandchildren will. Yeah. Take an active role. Take an active role. If it's just one tweet a day, fine. Tweet to someone you know and try to change their minds. Go to your local zoo. If your local zoo is not using positive reinforcement training in every single area, say something. Say something to the head of the zoo. Yes. Write a letter. Grab a docent and say, what's going on? Yes. But do your research and say positive reinforcement training everywhere. And you know what? Why not tweet to Ringling Brothers and say, okay, you want to keep your elephants? You got to use positive reinforcement training. You have to make every time they walk into the center ring a party for them, not a fear-based experience. Make it a party. Make it that. And you know what? And if an elephant doesn't feel like performing one day, okay, fine. Let the audience see that it's all on the animal's time. That goes for dogs, tigers, cats, lions, whatever.
I agree. I know for those of us who frequent SeaWorld fairly regularly, that some of our most memorable shows are when the animals decide they want to just do something completely different.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, one last question here. So people want to know a little bit. So we'll just do these two questions. So one is to you, where they want to know about your website. On your CarolynHennessy.com, do you personally answer the contacts section? Someone wants.
Well, here's my sort of mea culpa on that. I will. I haven't been on that website in like a couple of months because there's just been some other stuff happening. So the answer, yes, I will.
Okay, excellent. So the second question is by Kim, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, but this is going to be our last question, which is, what can you do to protect yourself from bullies?
Here's what I do. You mean like verbal bullies, I guess, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Activists who try to bully you and try to be mean and say things to get you to just shut up.
You know what? First of all, don't call them stupid, and don't say shut your mouth and anything like that. Like on the here's what what I do is when I say the sky is blue and someone says, the sky's red, I say the sky is blue.
Mm-hmm.
They say sky's red, and I say, okay. If you know you're not going to change somebody's mind, walk away. But when you are in possession of the facts and they don't want to see, they don't want to understand.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. If you come up against a bully, usually bullies are extraordinarily insecure about the amount of information in their own hands. Bullies are insecure beings, just like arrogant people are insecure beings, really at the root. So take the wind out of their sails and say, yeah, you're right. Okay, fine. Whatever you say. Because if you don't fight back, especially if it's verbal, you can easily deflate a bully. If they really want to argue with you, you can walk away. You can try and use your facts and figures, use your brain. But if they're really not going to be swayed, understand that a bully bullying you verbally is just they're exposing themselves for what they are, and they are little insecure, worm-riddled individuals, and you're not, and you can take that with you, and you can really just feel sorry for them. That's basically what you do. You have to pity the bully.
Awesome. Well, Carolyn, we definitely want to thank you for spending an amazing hour with us here for this Awesome Ocean Live. I can't thank you enough. You're simply amazing, and we're so excited to have Animal Magnetism on Awesome Ocean and to be able to kind of add your voice to this voice of people who are fighting for the people who are on the front lines of conservation.
Well, I'm right there with you. I'm playing the fife. The fife.
This has been so amazing and so engaging and really just I know it's been just a treat for our audience to have you on and hear your passion. So we just want to thank you so much for joining us. Thank you everyone who participated and who asked questions and who engaged. We'd like to personally recommend Carolyn your show Animal Magnetism, and I believe on Facebook it is Carolyn Hennesy's Animal Magnetism is the page that you can go, and you can also follow Carolyn on Twitter at Carolyn Hennesy. You can also follow Awesome Ocean on Twitter, which is at @OneAwesomeOcean. And we will be doing another Q&A in about 2 weeks, so just follow us on there and you can get all of the updates. But this was absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much again, Carolyn, for joining us for this.
My pleasure. Anytime. I'm yours. All yours.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you again, and thank you everyone, and keep being awesome and following Awesome Ocean.